So this is the wrestling wrap-up on September 18th, 2025. We're reviewing TripleMania, so let's get to it. Hey guys, and this is the wrestling wrap-up, a handful of news brought to you in one easy-to-watch video. I want to say thank you for watching here. If you're watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, kind of, sort of, if you want to call it a bunch. We're going to review TripleMania. Then I'm going to talk about what went down with Undertaker and Matt Lytle and that 6 Feet Under podcast, because Matt Lytle talked to Maven about it over the weekend. Well, the video came out last Friday. But regardless, we're also going to talk about, what was the other topic? Sorry about that. I've kind of been flustered with a bunch of different things this morning. We're also going to talk about WWE potentially running an extra show this year on ESPN early, before the ESPN deal even kicks in. And then I might sprinkle in a couple other things as well, depending on time. But those are the three main topics for this show. And with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. You can also remember to help us out by subscribing to the channel with one of two different options. You can subscribe with a You subscribe with a, sorry, I'm like flustered because I got this message. They really just fucked with my head just now. Nothing bad or anything, but it was just like, why would somebody send that? Why would somebody send that? I'm not even going to say it or show it. You got the date wrong on the video. Today's the 18th. 8/18. Does it not say 8/18? Oh, I didn't change from 15. Thank you for that one, Bob. Sorry, like I said, we started late. I've been flustered. I had a bunch of stuff happen today. Kids went back to school last week, but then this week was like kind of the first day, the real first day. And yeah, just a bunch of different things going on. But with all of that, we should have some fun here talking TripleMania, not WrestleMania, TripleMania. Because also, if you are helping out and supporting us on Twitch, you can do so either with a Twitch subscription, whether that's with a tiered subscription or Amazon Prime. And you can help us out over on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos when we go live and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to support us another way, you can do so by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. And finally, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Use our code PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that new season of Fortnite. Maybe you want the Power Rangers that are in the shop till the 29th of August. When you do, go to the shop, go to the bottom, put in our code PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Anywho, with all of that, TripleMania was this past weekend from Mexico City in Arena CDX or CMDX. And man, was this show great. This show was great from start to finish. I wouldn't say everything was perfect or anything like that. I wouldn't say that everything was the best. Because, like, the Latin American title match, the one with Macias and Wagner, it was fine. It was, for what they wanted, it was fine. And then in the women's title match, the Reyes title match, it could have been better. I didn't like what they did with the referee, because I know that referee is known for his family, I guess you would say. And I'm not the biggest on AAA lore, but I know that, like, that referee is known for screwing up or counting slow and messing up and favoring heels. And commentary didn't tell us anything about any of that, which is like, man, missed opportunity. Because a lot of people were confused, because I saw tweets and stuff. Why is this referee so bad? Why is this referee sucking? No, that's kind of his gimmick. So that was bad. And then there was a time, I'll talk about it, in the women's title match where, and it was that they WWE-ified it in two different ways. The reason they WWE-ified it was that, A, it changed some people's music. WWE is going to go by the law. And if a song is trademarked, they're not just going to use it. So like La Parka, Thriller, you ain't got Thriller no more. I think Mr. Iguana's music got changed as well. WWE's got it on YouTube. They don't want it to get copyrighted or anything. The show, they want to be able to they made their own music for a couple of guys. Then the other thing I saw was people were a little upset that the street fight wasn't a AAA street fight. Because you see AAA street fights back in the day, people beating the shit out of each other, ripping masks, blood, and all that kind of stuff. And this was a WWE street fight. Also, I see Dragon Super being a dumbass in the chat, saying, hey, Pro Wrestling Unlimited, you report El Grande Americano to win the title. You lie. No, I did not. I said that there were some in the company pushing for him to win the title. Didn't mean that he was actually winning the title. So maybe Dragon Super, maybe you need to read. Maybe you need to learn to open your ears and read a little bit. Because we posted that on both. Oh, I think we posted it on the website. I'm not sure, 100% sure, but I know we had the video. And we said that there are some in the company pushing for El Grande Americano to win. No one ever said, spoiler alert, El Grande is for sure winning. That was never once said. So I guess you're just like these other douchebags that want to come in here and say that I lied about something that A, was not my original report anyways. So how can I lie when I'm just, bringing you guys somebody else's report? And B, there was no lie in the initial report or any of the report anyways, because there was no lie because it was some higher ups in the company were pushing for El Grande to win the title. Like they were suggesting he win the title. But ultimately, I don't know whose call it would be. I don't know who's exactly running the booking there. I don't know if it's Triple H. I don't know if it's Shawn Michaels. I don't know if it's The Undertaker, Jeremy Borash. I don't know who's got the final say for AAA right now. Probably Triple H. So we'll see with that. But yeah, no, I never said that he was winning the belt. I didn't lie about nothing. We just reported a report that stated that some were pushing for it. Just like some were pushing for Dom to win. Dom didn't win either. But as far as this show does go, WWE is touting some big numbers. The show had 19,691 in attendance, and they stated the following in a press release that came out today. It stated, quote, TripleMania 33, Mexican Lucha Libre promotion, AAA's largest annual event, became the most viewed and highest grossing TripleMania in event history. Streamed globally on WWE and AAA's YouTube channels in Spanish and English, the broadcast has been watched more than 4.3 million times in the first 24 hours and hit a peak live concurrent of 614,000. Now that's over all the different YouTube channels that it was on at once. Because I know on just the normal WWE YouTube channel, the English-speaking WWE YouTube channel, I think I saw it reach like top out, peak live concurrent 256,000 during the main event. And they state that the most that it got over, I think it was on 3 different YouTube channels at once, the AAA channel, the WWE Espanol, and then the regular WWE channel. It topped out at 614 live. Altogether, it's got 4.3 million viewers. It says, with a crowd of 19,691 at Arena CDMX in Mexico City this past Saturday, TripleMania marked the highest attendance for any Mexican Lucha Libre show this year and set AAA's all-time gate record. Additionally, the event broke records for the highest ever merchandise sales in AAA history. Here's the problem with that one. That number should have been a whole lot higher. You want to know why? Because apparently people went to the merch stand wanting to get the, La Pesca, whatever, the iguana puppet. And they were told, oh yeah, the shipment didn't come in. AAA still AAA-ing. Even though it's under WWE now, AAA still AAA-ing. But yeah, people went and tried to buy the puppet, the iguana puppet, and they're like, oh, we didn't get them in. The shipment never made it in time. So that number could have been a whole lot bigger as far as merchandise does go. Oh, they also talk about how AAA was number one on Twitter X on Saturday in the United States and Mexico, which that's big because it was over a very big, highly anticipated UFC event as well, UFC 319 that, oh my God, that main event. Chimaev just fucking destroyed Duplessis. Not really destroyed, but just made him look like a fucking jobber goober. Like he just, every round. If you didn't see the main event of UFC 319, I can tell you exactly how it went. Every round, they'd start, ding, ding, ding. They'd circle for a second. Chimaev would take down by 20 seconds, get him down, boom, just hold him there for like 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Next round would go, Same thing. Within 20 seconds, get him down, get him down, get him down. Then finally in the last round, the ref was like, you know what? You guys aren't doing anything. Stand up. And I'm like, oh my God. I doubt it's going to happen. But this ref might just screw Chimaev here. Because if Duplessis, the 2 times that the ref stood them up, I think it was 2 times. Maybe it was only once and he warned them once. But at least the 1 time the ref stood them up from the ground in the last round, if Duplessis could have just one good punch, as Logan Paul always says, just one good punch, he could have kept his belt. And everyone would have been so mad at that referee. I don't know who the referee was. I wasn't paying that much attention. But yeah, that was the big thing in that fight, where Chimaev had him down just for over 4.5 minutes every single round, except for the final round where he picked him up. The referee, stood him up. And yeah, that could have been bad. That could have been bad. Layeska. Thank you, K. Ballard. Layeska is the puppet. We'll talk about another puppet too. But anyways, back to TripleMania and all the breaking records and everything. They just talk about, what highlighted the show, the big main event, the big title matches. And they say that WWE has acquired leading Mexican Lucha Libre promotion AAA in partnership with Mexican-based sports and entertainment holdings company Philippe. So yeah, very successful night for WWE. Jeremy Borash was there because Jeremy Borash is like leading the charge on the WWE side of things there. But apparently The Undertaker has had a lot of influence in AAA as well, which I don't know exactly what that means. But yeah, sure. They're saying that The Undertaker has a lot of influence. Okay. Shawn was there. Triple H was there. We'll see where it all does lead to. But as far as this show does go, the show itself did kick off with their version of, well, first off, no. We had AAA execs, Marcela Pena, Dorian Roldan Pena. We had Triple H. We had Nick Khan all in the ring as they did the Mexican national anthem. I think Shawn Michaels was there as well. And I think this is the same way they started Worlds Collide back in, was it June as well, with the whole doing the Mexican national anthem, which I thought was really cool. And then like Nick Khan in the ring there, I'm like, oh shit, okay, yep. They're trying to show us that we're serious about this company, that we're serious about running this thing and making it successful. And Triple H stated, yes, Worlds Collide was Worlds Collide. It was a collaborative effort between WWE and AAA. But this show tonight, TripleMania, was WWE's night 1 of running AAA in the future going forward. So then we had the Copa Bardal, which is their version of a Royal Rumble. In the past, sometimes this has been a big shit show match. Sometimes this has been okay. But they WWE-ified it basically, and it was a good match. It was fun. It was entertaining, and I really liked it. A lot of people really liked this match. So La Parka was the first one to come out, and of course, like I stated, he had his music changed. He still tried to dance, do his thing, his dancing, but it was like a Thriller knockoff that they gave him. Then AAA Cruiserweight Champion Laredo Kid came out next. Some of you may know him from, he worked the last Worlds Collide show, but then he's done a number of stints in TNA as well throughout the years. So that's where a lot of people know him from. So the two start off the match. They state that the intervals are 90 seconds, but that was, sure, whatever. Just like the Royal Rumble. They never go the full 2 minutes. But Kid got... Oh, also, the other difference between this and a Royal Rumble, pinfalls and submissions will also get you eliminated. So not just throw over the top rope. So Kid got a near fall off of a 450 at one point before Joaquin Wilde would come out at number 3. Shortly after that, and I'm sorry if I butcher some of these names, but I did the best I can writing them down and then reading them back. Just going to say it. Abismo Negro Jr. came out as number 4. He was really quick and looked really good with his power moves. And then Taurus came out. And I go, whoa. That ain't the Beast Mordos. I thought the Beast Mordos was Tauros. And I was so confused, right? And so I'm like, what is this? Beast Mordos, he's CMLL and WWE or AEW. There's no fucking way he's working this show. But I'm like, wasn't the Beast Mordos Tauros or Black Tauros back in the day also worked TNA and stuff like that? And then when you started doing stuff with AEW, they changed it to Black, the Beast Mortos and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm confused. But apparently, what happened was AAA still owns the name Taurus. So they literally just got another guy get the same looking gear, a similar looking mask, and put him under that mask. And I don't know if he was serious or not, but the Beast Mortos basically teased suing them. Copyright infringement, I guess you would say. But I guess, again, the name Tauros or Black Tauros, whatever they're going to go by, they own the name. AAA, WWE, they own the name, the gimmick. That's why, well, he's now the Beast Mortos and not Tauros or Black Tauros, as we saw in AAA and in TNA and a couple other places that I've seen him work. But he came out number 5. He was fine. Just a lot of people were confused by that. Same with me. Number 6 was Aerostar. He took his time getting into the ring. And so, like, this is when things started to really, like, break down. There's 6 guys in the ring now, and they're going at it, having an okay time. And then Laredo Kid actually eliminates Aerostar for the first elimination of the match by tossing him over the top rope. And then this led to Mecha Wolf, former NWA Tag Team Champion, coming out. He came out at number 7. Cruz del Toro came out at number 8. Wolf then eliminated Joaquin Wilde over the top after spraying him in the face with the mist. Then, number 9, Otis came back. I don't really came back, but is back in the ring. We haven't seen Otis in the ring in a while now. He's been out with an elbow injury, and Otis came in. He's in this match, and the fans loved him. I'll just say it. The fans loved all the WWE main roster people. Also, I didn't even mention, the damn commentary team was great. Corey Graves running the show. And then JBL, who didn't say anything offensive, but was there to be JBL, a kind of toned down JBL. And then Conan, who was great. Maybe better than what he did at Worlds Collide. He was good at telling you who everybody was if you were unsure. Corey Graves was able to do it as well. But I love the fact that every time Corey would maybe not want to talk about somebody, he would just go, well, Conan, tell us about so-and-so. Oh, you know, he's a complete wrestler. Yeah, so-and-so is a complete wrestler. And then, like, you got another match later on or whatever, and he's like, well, Corey Graves would be like, Conan, tell us about so-and-so. And he's like, well, so-and-so is a complete wrestler. And then he'd go into their, like, history and stuff. But it's so funny how Conan would call everybody, oh, he's a complete wrestler. She's a complete wrestler. I'm like, okay, guy. They're all complete wrestlers. Sure, whatever. But things picked up from here. Otis tossed Aerostar. No, did I say Aerostar was already eliminated? Okay, I may have messed this up. Oh, no. Laredo Kid was eliminated by Aerostar. Okay, I messed it up earlier. Then Otis eliminated Aerostar. There we go. Okay. He did the worm on Negro Jr. The fans were loving it. Pimpinella would come out next. An Exotico, number 10. And Taurus was then eliminated by a double Pimpinella Otis clothesline over the top rope. Then Pimpinella kept trying to kiss Otis, but Otis was like kind of into it, but not wanting to actually do it. So like every time they get close, Otis would be like, oh, gotta do some offense on somebody else. It was weird and interesting. And then Otis did at one point tease kissing Pimpinella before they were accidentally eliminating Pimpinella after he was drop kicked into Pimpinella and then pushed over the top. It was a whole thing. Yeah. Cybernetico. I'm like, this guy's still around? Cybernetico came out at number 11. And I'm like, I didn't know this guy was still wrestling. Wasn't this guy in like the 90-something Rumble? The San Antonio, 94 Rumble? Which Rumble was that? Which was the San Antonio Rumble? Royal Rumble San Antonio. Was it 97? 97 Rumble. That's what it was. The one in San Antonio. I'm pretty sure Cybernetico was in that match. Hold on, let me see. Cybernetico. Was it not the 94? Yeah, Cybernetico was in the 97 Rumble. And I was just like, this guy is still around? Then he gets in the ring and can't do anything. And this guy is old and can't do anything. And they didn't even waste no time. There was like 30 seconds and like, throw the clock up. Cybernetico don't got a spot that we got to highlight. Then, number 12, out comes Microman. Microman comes down to the ring. Conan tries to say all of 3'5". Yeah, right. They also say that Microman has won a Copa what is it? I'm gonna butcher this name again. Hold on, I got Copa Bardal. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, interesting. And, you know, fans popped really big for this one. Number 12, after fighting off elimination, Cybernetico was eliminated by Otis, who picked Microman up and tried to so he picked Microman up and hit Cybernetico with him off the apron. Then Otis tried protecting Microman. He would push him into the corner and stand in front of him. It was great. Then number 13, it was Otis. Otis would make his way, or not Otis, Omos. Omos would make his way out to the ring. They talked about how he did a stint in Noah and has grown tremendously in his in-ring prowess since then. How going and training in Japan for a little bit really helped the big man. So the reigning people in the ring all just kind of backed up on one side of the ring as Omos came down. And then they all just attack on the big guy. And he does the whole, everyone's on me, Hulk up spot, you know. And this eventually led to, you know, Omos was walking around looking at everybody down. And then he feels someone kick his leg. And he's like, and someone kicks his leg again. So he turns around and he's looking. He gets kicked in the leg again. And he goes, huh? He looks down and there's Microman. So Microman runs at Omos, and Omos just, boom, straight kicks him right in the face. Just kicks him right in the face. He takes a big bump down. He goes over, grabs him by the head, just throws him up in the air, sits him on the top rope, between the top rope and the middle rope. So, Microman's in the ropes like this, just stuck. And they all start attacking Omos again. At one point, he eliminated Negro Jr. and Del Toro at the same time before the final entrant was revealed as Octagon Jr., last year's Copa Bardal winner. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Someone we know. Actually, I don't think, other than Pimpinella, who I had seen photos of, that's the only person in this match that I've never seen work before. Actually watch in a match. So I don't know about you guys, but I knew everybody in this match for the most part. And again, the only one that I hadn't ever really known about or heard of or seen, I guess you would say, because I've heard of Pimpinella, but the only one I've never watched wrestle is Pimpinella. So they had a good cast of characters here, especially if you know, you do the whole, you know, got a lot of new fans watching. We'll get the most recognizable ones that have been around for a while. But anyways, where was I? So Octagon Jr. comes out as the last member of the match. Otis then took his shot at Omos and failed, but Microman took advantage and pinned Otis. Basically, Omos took down Otis. Microman then jumped off the ropes onto Otis and just 1, 2, 3, pinned him. Otis gone after goddamn protecting this fool. I laughed so hard. I'm like, oh, that was phenomenal. That was great. Otis protects you for 5-10 minutes, and then you say, screw it, it's every man for himself. I didn't ask you to help me. I love it. I love it. Omos then picked up Microman, just right over his head, threw him to the outside. Was it Del Toro and Negro Jr. caught him or whatever? Parka, Octagon, and Mecha Wolf then teamed up to try and take down the big man. And well, it didn't really work. He took them all down. Parka eliminated Wolf. Omos eliminated Octagon with a big boot while he was on the apron. That left the first entrant in La Parka with Omos. Parka teased eliminating Omos and had him tethering on the apron where he was straddling the top rope. We'll fall this way. I'm going to fall this way. I'll fall back in the ring. Omos then grabbed La Parka right with a chokehold and didn't choke slam him over the top or anything. He's standing there, grabs him with the goozle, and then just wink right over the top rope. Wink right over the top rope. There we go. Parka's eliminated. Omos wins the Copa Bardal. Fun match. I really enjoyed this one a lot. So moving forward, there was an interview backstage with Dragon Lee. He did half of it in English, half of it in Spanish. And that was the thing on this show. If you could speak English, you did part of your promo in Spanish, part of your promo in English. And then when they did the video packages, if it was in anyone speaking English, they had Spanish subtitles. If there's anyone speaking in Spanish, English subtitles. I like that. Except for fucking Conan. Conan did his whole speech in Spanish. And they tried to have a translator. But the translator was, the audio levels were not right. So it was over each other and this and that. And yeah, it was bad. And then at one point, Conan just starts going off and just talking fast, and the translator just stops for a minute and just doesn't translate. And we'll get to it. Freaking Conan yelling at the crowd, healing it up, I guess you would say. This is when they showed, who was it? Triple H, Nick Khan, the AAA execs, Marcelo Pena, all in the front row. They then showed some other guy. They say he was like a football or a soccer president. I don't know. Pipe Punk or Pipe Punk, as they called him. And then they also showed Dr. Wagner Jr. There was a reason this man in his fur coat and glasses were sitting front row. Eventually, kind of, I guess you would say, helped the son win the match, win the Latin American title. So, the AAA Latin American title was on the line. Next, El Macias, or should I say, Dr. Doom. Great little Dr. Doom cosplay here with the mask and the green cape and hood. I loved it. But it was El Macias. You may know him from back in the day as Judas Macias. He worked, I want to say, Lucha Underground. I know I've watched him in TNA. A lot of the AAA guys have worked TNA. So you may go, oh, I've seen that guy before. Oh, I've seen that guy. A lot of them have been in TNA. So, but Macias, who was 50 years old, held the title, they said, for 280 days with 3 successful title defenses. So, as far as this match does go, I did see some people say it was a bad match and it was just not good at all. And I thought it was fine. I thought for what it was supposed to be, it was perfectly fine. The story of this match was that Macias is a monster. El Macias is a beast that you can't slay. And El Hijo Dr. Wagner, or El Hijo, yeah, is it El Hijo Dr. Wagner, or yeah, El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr., well, he's never won a title in AAA. He can win tonight, it'll be his first championship. So that's the whole thing. Conan also, I guess, doesn't like him and his dad. They were talking shit on commentary, sort of, because like Conan was on commentary, but then Dr. Wagner Jr. was sitting right next to him in the front row, and they were talking crap. So Wagner Jr. railed after a double clothesline spot early on, firing up some offense and nearly getting the win with the big splash early. And then again, well, there was a power bomb and a Wagner's driver. Dorian Roldan, who came out with Macias, jumped up on the apron and tried to cause some distraction there. Commentary at one point did a good job talking about Macias's background with the elder statesman, Dr. Wagner Jr., and their long history. So it's like the father now avenging his father, or the son avenging his father. But yeah, no, I've seen a couple Macias Wagner matches, like Dr. Wagner Jr., not son of Dr. Wagner Jr., in the past. And yeah. Those were good matches. This match, it was okay. Again, El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr., it's so confusing because it's like, if you ever don't know what the whole, why they got the same name, El Hijo in Spanish is son of. So a lot of these guys are just like Vikingo. El Hijo del Vikingo, son of Vikingo. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., son of Dr. Wagner Jr. I think, wasn't Santos Escobar an El Hijo? I can't remember. Was he? Hold on. Was he El Hijo del Fantasma? I think it was El Hijo del Fantasma. Let me see. Santos Escobar. What was his name in AAA? Yeah, El Hijo del Fantasma. I was right. So he was son of Fantasma. It's confusing, but I guess the more and more we see these guys and the more and more we watch AAA going forward, it'll be less confusing. I don't think you're right, Jonas Tiger. Hold on. He's trying to say El Macias. Wait, what? Mortis is Macias? What are you trying to say? I don't understand what you're trying to say. You said Mil Morted. You're trying to say El Macias is Mil Mortis? I don't think so. Hold on. I could be wrong. Oh, he was Mil Mortis. But when? Because I know there's been multiple Mil Mortis. Which Mil Mortis was he, though? Is the question. You know what I mean? Because he was Mil Mortis. Was he just a... Are you saying he was just a Lucha Underground version of Mil Mortis? Because there's been, like, him and is Mil Mortis in Lucha Underground, but then there was other versions of Mil Mortis before Lucha Underground was a thing. I want to say. Unless I'm thinking differently. Because he's had a lot of different names. I know he's wrestled as Ricky Banderas. He's been King Mortis, Mil Mortis in Lucha Underground, El Macias now. He was Judas Macias in TNA. So he's one that's been around since 97 and had a lot of different names and gimmicks. But as far as this back to this match does go, Dr. Wagner Jr. was talking crap with, like I said, with Conan and then Dorian Roldan, and eventually he couldn't take it anymore and he wanted to go help his son. So he took off his fur coat and jumped the rails. Roldan was then pulled off the apron by the father. Roldan then put on his old mask to taunt the father. Macias then hit a big finisher, but Dr. Wagner Jr. kicked out. He got distracted by everything going on at ringside and got superplexed, followed by a Wagner driver and pinned 1, 2, 3. El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. is the new AAA Latin American champion. Again, not a bad match. If you're rating this match, it is a 3 out of 5. It's a 3 out of 5. Nothing wrong with it, but yeah. Moving forward, Chuy Martinez interviewed the Judgment Day in the back. Mysterio Jr. entered the frame, and they disrespected him in both English and Spanish. They showed some more celebrities. I don't know who these people are. And I think his name was like Natalie or Natalia MX. They said social media influencer and a football president. I'm like, okay. But speaking of Judgment Day, we had a mixed 6-man tag or 6-person tag. 6-person. I don't know what I'm thinking. It was Judgment Day. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Raquel Rodriguez with Roxanne Perez at ringside against this just weird team. Nino Hamburguesa, Hamburger Boy, Mr. Iguana, and Lolo Vice. Like, what a team to just throw together to take on Judgment Day. So this was your party match of the night, basically. This was your let's have some fun match. Hamburguesa was a beloved baby face here. He played the baby face in Peril early on. Iguana. Early on in Iguana, well, he played Iguana. He played with the Iguana and he used the Iguana and everything. Hamburguesa eventually got the hot tag to Iguana, who cleaned house. As Iguana was running wild, Balor jumped up on the apron and he had like, so they're fighting on like the ramp side, right? And Finn gets up on the apron. We don't see this, but Conan's like, what is he doing? Hey, Finn, he's got something in a shirt behind his back or whatever. And for some reason, Corey goes, I don't know what you're talking about. They're standing right in front of him, right? Corey's like, I don't know. What are you talking about, Conan? Or whatever. And eventually, so Mr. Iguana gets back in the ring. Finn then pulls his hand out. And he's got this like hood that he wore to the ring over his hand. He goes, and it's a demonito puppet. And of all people, JB goes, oh my God, I know what that is. That's a demonito. I'm like, oh my God. JBL of all people knew what the puppet was. He's got his own demon puppet. Iguana was perplexed and they did puppet wrestling basically. Eventually, the demon ate the iguana and was chewing on it and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, this was weird. Also, they're selling the Demonito puppet for $99 on WWE Shop. Yeah, and I've already seen a bunch of people say that they bought it. I don't know if it's true. People on social media, I bought the Finn puppet. I bought the Finn puppet. Okay, we'll see. Because I've seen social media people go, oh, I bought this on WWE Shop. I spent all this money. And then like they never show that they actually got it. I'm not going to call names because I don't remember who it was. But there's one guy that I see on Instagram all the time, I think it is, where he's like, I just bought this. He's like, he does like a video. It says WWE Shop haul or something like that. Come with me as I purchase things off WWE Shop. But then he never shows the purchase going through. And then I tried to look and I never see like the video of here, I actually got it. So got these social media people trying to say I got all this money to spend on WWE merch, and then they never show that they got the merch, which is weird. Anyways, Hamburguesa then brought in 2 hamburgers and gave Balor one of them. And commentary goes, I think it's JBL. I don't think Finn Balor's ever eaten a hamburger in his life. Look at that body. Hamburguesa then hit a tope on Balor and McDonough after an iguana dive, leaving Lola Vice and Raquel Rodriguez in the ring. Perez then shoved Vice off the top, which led to Hedrea, I think is how you say it, running down and attacking her. And I have no clue what's going on here. Why did this lady come out and attack and run off Roxanne Perez? Is she with one of these other people? Is she friends with Hamburger Guy? Is she friends with Mr. Iguana? We don't know. In commentary, all they said was, oh my God, that's Hedrea. What is she doing out here? And then that was it. Didn't tell us who she was, why she would have been out here. She got beef with the Judgment Day. We don't know. But this caused a distraction. Lola Vice got hit with the Tejano bomb and pinned 1, 2, 3. Raquel picks up the win. So, like, it was a fun match, but I was confused on why did Hedrea come out? Why did she run off Roxanne? Did something happen earlier in the day that we don't know? I don't know. Just so confused. So confused. But Judgment Day picks up the victory. Then we got AAA Tag Team Championships on the line. Los Garza defending against Psycho Clown and Pagano in a street fight. I liked it. I saw a lot of people online saying, oh, it was a watered down WWE street fight. Screw this. They've already ruined AAA. And I get it. People like their AAA street fights because them AAA street fights back in the day used to get freaking brutal. You're ripping people's masks half off. They're bleeding like crazy, stains all over the ring. And yeah, blood stains and stuff. And it's like, okay, the WWE ain't going to go that far. Like, they had barbed wire wrapped kendo sticks and no one bled from them. So, of course, gimmicked barbed wire. But for what this match was supposed to be, I thought it was a fun-ass street fight. I mean, again, AAA is WWE now. So you kind of just got to get over the fact that this is what it is now. Where was I? Far as so at one point both Berto and Angel seemed destined to be, where was I? My notes are all kinds of messed up here. Okay, here we go. So I wrote that at one point it looked like Angel and Berto could have been released by WWE in the last couple of years, but now that with the new AAA relationship, it looks like their jobs are safe. I'm going to say that right now. It looks like their jobs are safe because WWE is going to promote them and show them off on SmackDown a couple times a month, if not every week or most weeks or whatever. And then when they go work AAA stuff, they can go, look at that, main roster talent. So, yeah. But, yeah, this was an interesting match. Pagano and Psycho Clown, this was their second title shot in, what, 4 weeks, 3 weeks? Because they got a shot against them on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. Also, when they pulled the tables out, no Slim Jim on the tables. I guess that's just for North America. Because I think they didn't have the Slim Jim on him for Saudi either on the tables. So I guess that's just a WWE North American sponsor, maybe. Well, no, Mexico's still North America. U.S. Take that back. U.S. sponsor. Anyways. Well, a lot of this match did take place in the ring. They would slide out every so often, grab some weapons, throw them in. There was trash cans, there was chairs, there was kendo sticks. At one point, Los Garza had kendo sticks and they were hitting them with them. So then Pagano and Psycho Clown got out of the ring, got their own kendo sticks that were wrapped in barbed wire, but it didn't last long for them to lose them. And then the Garzas had them as well. At one point, the Garzas put them both in Tree of Woe spots and were racking them with the kendo sticks. They then got out of the ring and set up 2 tables at ringside before going and grabbing another table, setting that up, then putting a table in the ring. And then there was a number of table spots where I want to say it was Angel and Berto were both speared through a table in the corner by Pagano as they were trying to, I think they were trying to suplex Psycho Clown through the table, and they got speared instead by Pagano. Pagano and a Psycho Clown were put through side-by-side tables on the outside, as there was a, so Angel had, I can't remember which was which, but he had one in like a World's Strongest Slam hold position, and the other, Berto put up on his shoulders, and then he doubled them right down to the 2 tables they set up earlier. They threw him back into the ring. and Pagano and Psycho Clown rallied back. Some barbed wire. They freaking wrapped. So Berto was sitting on the top rope. Pagano had barbed wire in his mouth. He came over, wrapped it all around Berto. Followed that with a Spanish fly by Psycho Clown. And they pinned Berto to pick up the victory. I also missed there was a double press off the top to, I want to say it was Pagano through a table. And it was the safest spot you could have done in this entire match. Like the safest spot in this entire match. He literally just took a front flip bump. A flip bump off top rope through the table. Almost missed the table, but yeah. Fun little match here. Pagano and Psycho Clown are now the tag team champions. I want to say they said this was Psycho Clown's first street fight. I could have heard that wrong. Pagano, he's known for the street fight stuff. So then we had the Hall of Fame induction of Conan. I'm not going to fully get into this. I didn't make a lot of notes because of the whole... He was talking in Spanish, and yeah. But what I did get was Rey Mysterio came out, spoke in Spanish. There was an English translator who was able to kind of translate for Rey fine. But the issue here was that you had the regular mic audio at its level, and then the guy that was like translating was just a little like if Rey's mic was here, this guy was here. So he was lower than when Rey was speaking. So you could almost not hear him, but at the same time, while he was speaking over Rey. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But at one point, the crowd was chanting for Alberto. Alberto Del Rio. And Rey's just like, yo, I'll bring him out later. And so according to Brian Alvarez, that didn't mean anything. What he was told was that was Rey just trying to quiet the crowd. Because if you don't know, the Mexico crowd, they love Alberto. That's why they boo Vikingo, because they feel like, how do I put this? Crowds in Mexico love Alberto Del Rio, love Alberto El Patron. And they don't like Vikingo because they feel like Vikingo was the chosen one by the office to take the title off of him, because now that WWE owns the company, they don't want anything to do with Alberto, and the WWE has now pushed him out. But for some reason, they love Alberto. And now they hate... what's the word? They hate Vikingo for the sole fact that he was the one that took the title off Alberto. I don't get it. I don't know. But down there, they treat him like royalty. With a Mexican fan base, Alberto can't do no wrong. But that's why Vikingo gets booed. It's not that he's a heel. He gets booed because he's the one that they had, quote unquote, beat Alberto for the title. Give me 1 second here. But anyways, Rey just spoke about Conan and all this kind of stuff. And then they had a video with, this was weird. So he's getting inducted into the AAA Hall of Fame. And they have this video where most of the footage of Conan is Conan from WCW. What? But we also got 3 Live Crew somewhat reunion in this, because R-Truth and the Road Dogg all said congratulations to their boy Conan, K-Dog. Norman Smiley and Penta also gave some congratulations in the video as well. Conan comes out, he does the whole thing in Spanish, and he's just talking. And then at one point the crowd starts stirring, and he goes, "Hey, shut up. I'm trying to speak here." He literally tells the crowd, "Just shut up." I'm like, whoa. He tells him, sit back down and let me finish. I'm like, God damn, Conan. So he goes and he's thanking all these people. He thanks the whole Gutierrez family, Rey and his family, and Rey, Oscar Gutierrez, and Angie Gutierrez, and Dominic Gutierrez. Thanks them all. And this guy's trying to translate. Eventually, this guy's just like, all right, I'm just going to wait for a second. All right, let's try this again. He starts translating again. But yeah, this was nice. Cool, but it just wasn't well executed, I guess you would say. So El Grande Americano was interviewed in the back. He did his whole interview in Spanish. Vikingo was also interviewed and heavily booed. Also throughout the show, WWE was promoting the Canelo Alvarez fight that's coming up soon in Vegas. That's a TKO production. They told us the attendance, 19,691. They showed a couple more people in the crowd. Then we got the AAA Reina de Reinas championship match. It was Lady Flamer defending against Fabi Apache and Natalia. And this was a WWE triple threat, where basically it's people start, one person gets knocked out, do singles match stuff. Then someone's going to get knocked out as the other person comes in, do singles match stuff. And then someone's going to get knocked out, and the other one comes in, do singles match stuff. And then they're all three in there, and then that's when they got lost. So they state that Flamer had held the title for 735 days. They say their title reign started in August of 2023. And have only had 5 defenses of the belt. So Natalia came out as Natty Neidhart, her indie version of herself, her blood sport version. Call herself the quote, low-key legend. So Apache had a pin on Flamer early, but then the referee did the slow count. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I find out later that this guy has got a history, like him and his family got a history of screwing baby faces and working with heels and all kinds of things. But then it's like he did a fast count for the heels, but slow count for the baby faces, but it wasn't consistent. Sometimes he was just normal count. Sometimes he was fast count. It was weird. It was weird, and it really took me out of the match. And so they're fighting and everything. And like, again, commentary could have done a better job at explaining this referee and his history and all that stuff. So the fans were also chanting something that I wasn't sure of because, it was in Spanish and commentary didn't say it. A couple times they tried to translate the cheering, but not this time. This seems like it distracted a couple people. Natalia at one point nearly got the win on a quick count on Apache, but Flamer took advantage of the distraction. And so they're all three in the ring. And it looked like, what was it? Flamer and Natty Apache and Natty were going to work together. And so they like back up into the corner like they're going to double clothesline. And they just kind of just stop. They're just looking. I'm like, what's going on? They're all just lost. They all literally just frozen time. And at one point, Natty gets a double sharpshooter on. She puts a sharpshooter on, was it Apache? Then rolls over into Flamer and grabs her. And so she's got the double sharpshooter on. She's like, yeah. No one taps. She gets that. They double roll her up. Natty pops on the back of her head. They keep fighting. One point, Flamer looked to take the advantage off a distraction. She gave Apache a Michinoku driver that, oh my God. No, Apache hit Natty with a Michinoku driver. Then Natty was dumped right on the top of her head. Just right on the top of her head. But then Flamer came in, rolled her up. 1, 2, 3. Apache's foot was on the bottom rope, sticking out of the ring. Referee didn't even care. He's just like, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Winner! I'm like, holy shit. This is a crooked referee. And so, like, the camera's right there at the foot, on the ropes, hanging out of the ring, right? And then they showed the replay, but from the other side of the ring, so like you can't kind of notice. And so they're like, the referee's advantage or vantage point or whatever. And I'm like, gee, okay, sure. But then afterwards, Natty and Apache fought, and they had to be separated. It was okay. It was an 11-minute match or so, 10-minute match. It was fine. It was whatever. They then make the announcement that we're getting another Worlds Collide on September 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern from Las Vegas. So basically, you're going to watch SmackDown on Friday, September 12th, and immediately go to YouTube and watch TripleMania. Or not TripleMania, Worlds Collide. So it's a Friday night show. It's going to air basically as soon as SmackDown goes off the air on the USA Network and Netflix. Interesting. I don't know what we're going to do coverage-wise of that, because I'm going to be doing the SmackDown review, because that is Brock supposed to be on that SmackDown. So we ain't not reviewing that SmackDown. Just hopefully these SmackDowns get better, because last week's SmackDown was so boring, so bad. Now we go into our main event. It was the AAA Mega Championship on the line. El Hijo del Vikingo defending against Dominic Mysterio, El Grande Americano, and Dragon Lee. El Grande Americano comes out first, and he sings with the mariachi band, and this was freaking great, other than the mics were wrong. Like, the audio was off as far as the mariachi band was a little low, and then, like, El Grande's mic didn't sound right, so it was off. If this was mixed better, this would have been fantastic. And he had the crowd singing with him. Like, again, I've said this before. No offense to Chad Gable, but El Grande Amerikaiser's here to stay, I think. He has really embraced the gimmick. Dragon Lee had a cool entrance. He had a big old, like, dragon Chinese New Year's thing with the dragon coming out and all kinds of stuff. And then Dom had just a normal entrance where he wore the old Mysterio mask. And then we go to the back and we see the Vikingo. And his music starts playing and he turns around, he starts walking. He's got his hood on, his helmet, Viking helmet. Rey Mysterio comes up and dabs him up. Some other guy comes up that I didn't know who it was and wishes him good luck and everything. And crowd's hyped for this one. And they're behind Dom big. Like they are booing Vikingo out of this building, out of Mexico City. They were booing so loud for Vikingo. And Dom, his music hit, they lost their minds. He walked out, they lost their minds again. He got on that top rope and did a little shitty ass. They lost their minds again. So, yeah. I would not be shocked. We know that Vikingo won here. Dom is going to get another shot at the title on the 12th at Worlds Collide. I would not be shocked if Dom wins that belt in Vegas. Will Dom still be the Intercontinental Champion by then? Who knows? Because now he's got to deal with AJ Styles, who came out and screwed him in this match. But very interesting stuff here. Okay, Fonzie says that was Vikingo's dad. Gotcha. I didn't know that, and they didn't say it on commentary that I heard. But things broke down early. They were fighting on the outside and in the ring at one point. So at one point, they go to put Vikingo through the announce table, the English-speaking announce table. And Dom puts him on El Grande's shoulders and he goes to throw him through the table. He had to throw him so hard, the table barely broke. It's like, yeah, this guy's a fucking cruiserweight. But they got him as the top guy in the company. That's another reason I've heard that people boo him, because he's the top guy in the company. He's the main big champion, but they don't see him as a top guy. The fans don't see him as the mega champion. They see him as maybe the cruiserweight champion, not an American champion. But they don't see him as a guy that should be the mega champion. But WWE sees him as someone they can market and push out there and put as the top guy in the face of AAA. But the fans don't see it. They want that to be Alberto Del Rio. But regardless, where was I? Judgment Day came out at one point and caused distraction to Dragon Lee. So this then led to the LWO coming out to break that all up. Then the El Grandes came out, the other two El Grande Americanos, who I believe are Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. They came out as well to cause distraction and help El Grande. At one point, everyone was just going crazy and all hell was breaking loose. Dom then took the thing, the metal piece, and put it in his mask. So then he was dishing out headbutt spears and all that kind of stuff. Get ready to take everybody down. It looked like Dom was about to win the match. And then, well, the ref was pulled out of the ring. A masked man. This was the greatest thing from this crowd, because the referee gets pulled out of the ring and this guy in a mask jumps in the ring. And this crowd is just pissed because he just screwed Dom. And they're boo, boo. And the moment he goes, I'm AJ Styles. AJ fucking Styles. And then all of a sudden they go, wait, no, he screwed Dom. Boo! We gotta boo him. We gotta boo him. It was great. Like, you boo him because he screwed Dom. You cheer him because it's like, holy fuck, AJ Styles. Then you boo him again because you realize, oh, wait, no, he screwed Dom. Then he gives Dom a goddamn Styles clash. Vikingo comes off the top rope with the 630 and fucking pins Dom. So Vikingo retains the title. This crowd is pissed. They are not happy. And away we go. Good show. Great show, I may also say. Great freaking show. I really enjoyed it. It looks like the majority online enjoyed this show as well. And so I'm looking forward to whatever AAA does next. And that is Worlds Collide in Las Vegas on Friday the 12th. But before we get into any of the actual news, we're going to quickly go through. Let's hear from our sponsor. Does the summer heat got you sweating through your shirt before noon? Maybe it's time to chill with an AECOOLY handheld fan. This pocket-sized powerhouse is your secret weapon against scorching temps. Whether catching rays listening to music or just looking to get a great tan, it brings the breeze right when you need it. With 3 speed settings, a rechargeable battery that lasts up to 10 hours, and a whisper-quiet motor, the AECOOLY fan delivers cool comfort without the buzz or bulk. Toss it in your bag, clip it to your desk, or have it right by your side at all times. It's compact, stylish, and oh so convenient. So why melt when you can breeze through summer? Use our link in the description below, scan the QR code on the screen, or head over to pwunlimited.co/AECOOLY. That's AECOOLY now for coolin' in the palm of your hand. All right, so I see some people in the chat are a little confused on what's going on with WWE programming over the next couple of weeks. So tonight is the last WWE show in America until Clash, or after Clash in Paris, and the Raw after. So the Raw after Clash in Paris is, so from Friday to the Raw after Clash in Paris, we're getting international Raws and SmackDowns. And so I've seen some people in the chat kind of confused on the times and everything. I want to say SmackDown this week is 3 Eastern, which would be noon Pacific. Then SmackDown the following week is going to be 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, I want to say. And then Raw next week is going to be, so Birmingham, that would be 3 Pacific. And then the Paris show, I think that's the same. And then after all that, we're back in the United States, and we're in Chicago. So, yeah. Go from there. As far as news does go, Matt Lytle, the former host of 6 Feet Under with Mark, or with, what was it? What was his one? 6 Feet Under with the Dead Man, or was it 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway? I don't remember which one was him. But regardless, Undertaker's old podcast host or co-host spoke with Maven this past week and kind of gave a little, hey, here's what went down and why he is no longer on the show and WWE taking it over. Joseph Courier wrote this up from F4W Online, writing, quote, Matt Lytle, the original co-host of the Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast, has detailed his removal from the show. While Undertaker first launched the Patreon page and podcast in 2023-2024, it was in collaboration with his friend Lytle, while WWE had no involvement in the project early. And give me 1 second here. Podcast went on an abrupt hiatus in March of this year, and then it returned in June as part of WWE and Fanatics' new podcast network. It also had a new co-host in, well, The Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool. Lytle has now opened up about the situation for the first time, speaking on a new video with Maven on YouTube. Lytle said The Undertaker first broke the news to him after they recorded a batch of episodes for 6 Feet Under, and it was when they did the, as of course it was the last episode, when they were filming stuff with Jake the Snake. They were getting ready, so they were like taking a break, they were in between stuff, they were getting ready to shoot another deal, and he says, he comes up and says, quote, he goes, I really want to talk to you about some stuff. I thought he was about to tell me I'm done. You know, the whole joke was every week Undertaker's like, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this. I don't know if I'm going to come back next week. So you thought that's what Undertaker was going to say. I'm finally just overdoing all this. Or, hey. So that's what he thought at first, where Undertaker was just like, all right, we did this thing. It was fun. We're done. He goes, hey, man, you know, with LFG and everything else, I'm done. You know, too much on my plate. That's what he thought was going to happen. And Undertaker said, you know, the podcast, it's getting taken over by WWE. We're moving in that direction. And I looked at him and I was like, so I'm assuming that's the end of my run on the show? And Undertaker tells him, yeah, unfortunately. Maven said, well, don't you own part of the show and the name and stuff? And Lytle just goes, yeah, so you would think. And he just laughed it off. The conversation made Lytle feel like he had just been broken up with or fired from a job. But he knows that because of their friendship, Undertaker probably kept the show going 6 to 8 months longer than he probably should have or would have with anybody else. Stating that he felt like WWE was probably looking to take this over and start this with Mark earlier, but that Mark wanted to keep doing it with Matt. And so he did it as long as WWE would have lit, which I'm just like, is WWE funding this fucking thing the whole time and no one even knew? I don't know. Well, Lytle said he is slightly disappointed that he doesn't get to do the podcast anymore, and he just had fun in doing it. And he hopes that the podcast also doesn't change. He knows that under WWE, that things aren't going to be the same, and they're not going to be able to just, you know, tell the same types of stories that they were telling before. Because, you know, they were telling some non-PG stories on this podcast when you get some of these people on here. Like, stuff with him and Bear, the Godfather, when they had Midian on there. They were telling some non-PG stories. Well, Lida said a quote. He and I, Taker, have talked for a bit. I go outside with them. He's at his truck. He just took me and goes, good? I said, Mark. He said something a long time ago. We were at a hotel in Savannah, Georgia. And we shook hands and we said, if money ever comes between us, we're going to shut this whole thing down. We're going to go to the woods or we're going to go hunting. We'll forget about all of it. And I was like, dude, there's nothing business-wise that on my end would ever come between you and I. I was like, this podcast is just a podcast, man. So he was all cool about it. I guess he was upset and disappointed that he didn't get to do this anymore because he loved it and had so much fun with it. But he understood. Mark was taking it in a different direction. WWE wanted to take it up, and now he's just going to see where it goes. He said, quote, I helped create a channel, and I helped create a podcast that has the WWE logo on it now. That's pretty damn cool, in my opinion. He talked about how he met The Undertaker because, well, Undertaker was wearing some of his merch from his apparel company, Nine Line. Someone noticed and goes, whoa, Undertaker's wearing our merch. Someone needs to reach out to him and see if we can, work something out with him. And Lida was the one that reached out to him, struck up a friendship, a working relationship, and they went from there. They became really good friends. Lida saw Maven's YouTube channel and was like, let's do something like that with Mark. And apparently they filmed their first episode that was just going to be on Patreon, and it sucked. They both thought it sucked, and so we're never doing this again. Then Undertaker actually came to Matt and was like, you know what? Let's try it differently. Let's not do the whole I sit there in front of the camera and I just tell a story thing. Let's actually do it like a podcast style. That was apparently Undertaker's idea, because Matt's idea was to do it basically like Maven's YouTube channel, to copy Maven, where it's just we have a topic, Undertaker tells a story, and we go from there. Undertaker's idea was, let's try it one more time, but in a podcast style. And that's what worked. So, very interesting video. If you haven't seen it, it was the Friday drop of Maven. We'll go from there. Also, we got to talk briefly about what's going on with WWE and ESPN and WrestlePalooza. So WWE has a quote-unquote yet-to-be-announced show coming up on the 20th of September that is going to be taking place in Indianapolis, Indiana. And there's been a lot of rumors going around on what this show could be called. Is this show going to be called Bad Blood because we had one last year and didn't get one this year? Is it going to be called Fastlane because they're in Indianapolis? Or the stupid dumb rumor of Over the Limit? There was a graphic that got posted online that I looked at it for 2 seconds and said, that's not WWE made. I can tell you that for a fact. But for like a day and a half, 2 days, I was getting messages. Why aren't you reporting that WWE is going to run Over the Limit? The show's not Bad Blood. You were wrong. It's Over the Limit. No, it's not Over the Limit. It was never going to be Over the Limit. And I could have told you that by looking at it. I told all these people that were DMing me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, asking why I wasn't reporting it, because it wasn't real. It was fake. I could tell by looking at the graphic for 2 seconds by the way it was made, by the shitty quality of it. And then I said that to somebody, and someone goes, well, it's because it's a screenshot. It's a bad screenshot. Yeah, okay. Sure, whatever. But according to WrestleVotes, late Sunday, they're stating that the name could be WrestlePalooza, which is a old ECW pay-per-view name. Now, there's a slight problem with that. First Wrestling actually owns the trademark to WrestlePalooza, and they've had it since 2016. Now, I know I tweeted that out yesterday, and TC from WrestleVotes goes, basically, money talks. Look what they did with the Yeet trademark. They got that one. They just paid a lot and got it. So that is a possibility. If they want this WrestlePalooza name bad enough, they'll pay First Wrestling to get that name. Whether First Wrestling will actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Take the bite? We'll have to wait and see. Also, according to Mike Johnson of PWU Insider, he states that this show could be airing on ESPN. And you may ask, well, what about the Peacock deal? Peacock's getting 2 pay-per-views, 2 PLEs in August, so they can say that they can say they're getting their 12. Like, they're supposed to get 12 main roster PLEs a year. And because they're getting the 2 in August, they can say the August 31st Clash in Paris is their September PLE. This is an extra show, not on the books previously, that can go to ESPN and be like a test run and a preview of here's what we would do and how we would do it on ESPN. So PW Insider also stated that WWE is expected to announce this sometime this week, and that's the talk going around in the broadcast industry. We'll see how that all does go down. But with all of that, we've gone pretty long on this episode today. Tonight is Monday Night Raw. 6 things have been announced for tonight's Monday Night Raw. We know that Seth Rollins and The Vision will be appearing on the show. Naomi, well, I guess you could say, speak on the status of her as the Women's World Champion. Braun Breaker will take on Jey Uso. Raquel Rodriguez will take on Io Sky. Xavier Woods will be fighting Penta. And Becky Lynch will be defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Natalya. And with that, guys, that's going to wrap everything up here, as this has been the Wrestling Wrap-Up. I want to say thank you for joining us here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we will be back live tonight for Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, I got Luke with me to talk this show and see what else happens. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.